Got it.
Okay.
All right, still just the three. Oh, here they come. Okay, hello everybody. How's it going? Welcome to Letterform Lectures. Yay. Just a little reminder to drop where you're coming from in the chat, because we have an international audience today and we want to know where everybody is coming from. We're letting you guys in a little early, so we're going to be informal for a few minutes until more people show up. Lecture starts at noon, 4 minutes from now. So just drop it in. Okay, what do we got? Somebody's from Leeds. Oh yeah, here's another tip, okay? If you want everybody to see your comments, pull down that little lozenge that says to host and panelists or whatever, and make it say everyone. And that way everybody can see where you're coming from. Talking to you, Rebecca from Leeds. Okay, everybody, put where you're coming from in the chat, please. Oh, last little sip of mate there, huh?
That's me, the Uruguayan drinking mate for sure.
Yeah, no stereotypes, right?
No stereotypes at all.
Yeah, I think I told you I had a roommate from Argentina, and she would have these big mate parties that went just like all late into the night. All these Argentines chatting. I couldn't understand anything they said. Oh, we got somebody from Alexandria, Egypt, and from Halle in Germany. All right, welcome everybody. Please drop where you're coming from in the chat. While Amhai and I shoot the breeze here for a few minutes, people roll on in. Okay, we're gonna start right at noon, folks. Yeah, so I had her Argentine accent, right? So I was living in Spain, but her Argentine accent was just like incomprehensible to me. Especially, I could understand her talking to me, but when she got
Speaking with other Argentinians, it's impossible. Yeah, well, for me, what happens the same is I hear two people from Puerto Rico, let's say, speaking to each other. It's like, and I'm same language, completely different.
Yeah. Well, it's sort of like if I hear somebody from Scotland talking, I'm clueless.
Yeah, that's my favorite English accent.
I hear it's the sexiest English accent, actually. It's in vogue right now.
Hi, Dan. Nice to have you with us. That's a very good friend from New York City and Boston.
Oh, nice. Okay, and we got somebody from Berkeley, California. Not so exotic for me, but you know.
Well, for me it is.
All right, couple more minutes. People used to checking in at noon, so we'll see more people in just a few. Drop where you're coming from in the chat. Galicia, hola María.
Bienvenida, vamos.
Una gallega. Bienvenida. All right. Well, so far we've got Africa represented, North America, South America.
So we're lacking Asia.
Europe, we need someone from, we need Asia, Oceania, Antarctica. That's the one continent. I don't think we've ever had anybody from Antarctica on board, but that could change.
Yeah, it will happen sooner or later.
All right, Oakland, California. That's where I'm coming in from. London, okay. London, UK. Hello. Okay. 1 minute till showtime. I have some Bogota. Okay. All right, everybody, just a reminder, when you message people in the chat, pull down that little blue lozenge so it says everyone, if you want everyone to see your post. If you only want me and Amchai to see it, then host and panelists, but you want everyone to see it, right? Okay, folks, it's noon. Hello. Welcome to Letterform Lectures. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, you see that? I'm high, am I on? Okay. Welcome everybody to Letterform Lectures Online Edition. My name is Grendel and I'm Education Director at Letterform Archive, which is also the home of Type West. Representing my background here, that's our School of Type Design. And like I said, we have an international audience today, so please type in where you're coming from in the chat, especially if that is Antarctica, so we can get our first Antarctic representative. And if you have questions, oh, there's Vietnam. We got Asia now. If you have questions for our speaker, please put them in the Q&A, not the chat, and upvote the questions you'd like to see answered. I want to take a second here to give a shout out to Skilla Zaccolini, who's doing the work in the background here. She's doing the heavy lifting, and without her, this series would not be happening right now. So thank you, Skilla. Okay, people. We just cut the red ribbon on our new space on Saturday, last Saturday, with a celebratory party that coincides with our first major exhibition, Bauhaus Typography at 100. Oh, here we go. And it is an amazing show. It celebrates the best of the incredibly influential Bauhaus school. It features over 150 pieces from the archives collection, and there is a stunning catalog as well. So you definitely want to pick yourself up that catalog. This exhibition is open through April 27th, 2022. To visit the gallery, if you're in town, the hours are Thursdays and Fridays from 3 to 8 p.m. Saturday, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. It costs $10 for general admission, $5 for students, and it's free for members and for kids. And we're also hosting virtual curator tours for those of you who can't come by in person. And we have a salon on the horizon as well. That's happening in just a couple days with our very own Stephen Coles, who's going to be talking about the typefaces of the Bauhaus. So you don't want to miss that. This event is free for everyone, but the recording will only be available for our membership to view. So sign up now and check it out and/or join. Okay, so learn more about these and other events, to see our past lecture videos, or just to find out more about Letterform Archive and how to visit, go to letarc.org/events. And even better, you can become a member of Letterform Archive today. And I want to tell you about a new perk. We recently established an online group that's just for members, and you will be able to see new items that are coming into the archive. You'll get insider news about events, and you'll have a forum that you can use to chat with archive staff and with your fellow members. So be the first to know what's new. Join Letterform Archive today. Okay, welcome to Letterform Lectures Fall Edition. Our lecture series is co-presented by Letterform Archive and by the SFPL Book Arts and Special Collections. Letterform Archive is a nonprofit institution housing over 75,000 works of graphic design history. We are dedicated to the art and the craft of the letterform. And we'd like to thank Adobe for generously sponsoring the video recording of this lecture series. You can view all the lectures online soon after they happen. Just check our website, letterformarchive.org. Okay, today we're pleased to welcome Amijai Benderski Perez for our last Letterform lecture of 2021. Benderski is a graphic designer born and raised in Montevideo, Uruguay, and he's given talks and workshops around the world. He founded La Patria, which is an Uruguayan graphic design archive which seeks to center the cultural heritage of Uruguay. And he's going to fill us in on that today. So when we asked him how he got interested in this, he told us an amusing story. When he studied design in university, the focus was on the usual Western European design canon, nothing native to Uruguay, as though Uruguayan designers didn't exist. So he went to the library to find out what designs Uruguayans had produced. And he asked the poor librarian for all the flyers produced in Uruguay from the late 19th century to the early 20th century. They told him, you don't ask that. They looked at him like he was a nut, which, you know, maybe he is. The second time he came in, they told him he needed to get a library card if he wanted to look at stuff. So he did. And they begrudgingly dug up some items from the vault to show him. And immediately he noticed something interesting on one of the first flyers he saw. And after that, they treated him a little differently. And perhaps he'll tell us what it was that he found in today's talk. Okay, let's extend a very warm welcome to Amhari Benderski.
Hello to everyone. It's a pleasure to have you. Thank you, Grendel, for this lovely introduction. So you already introduced me, so I'm gonna start talking a bit of the archive, what I decided to found this project. There's of course a personal project. There we go. Everything is perfect, right?
Looking good.
Okay. So, like everybody knows, the lecture goes by the name "Why Start a National Design Archive?" So the answer is simple, because I want us to stop being an ignorant. Just like Randall just spoke a few seconds before, just try to picture yourself knowing design from all over the world, but not knowing your own roots. And this was when I realized that this, and I'm a designer that consume a lot of design, or at least I believe that I do. And when I realized this, it really hit me. It really hit me because I said, this is not possible. So in the end, this is what I wanted. I wanted to learn. I wanted to stop being the designer that I was and be a new designer that at least know what was produced here. Like I was saying, that the Uruguayan design tradition is not narrated at all. Uruguayan design seems to have neither tradition nor history. Of course, you can go to a history book and check out the graphic design, but there's no designer that try to document the graphic design that was produced in Uruguay. So the commitment to my profession, my activity, my discipline leads me to want to fill gaps. And I know that this task is impossible for a single person, but I aspire to contribute to the direction of such deficiencies. For me, it's a way to make my time valuable. Okay, so just imagine there's a desert of knowledge that's the Uruguayan design tradition. So if just one single person does something for this, it's going to help, and it's going to help to change the desert. And what also happens, I feel that when I invest my time on this, I feel that, you know, this is pretty valuable. So what is the objective of La Patria? It is expected to revalue our cultural heritage through a look at the various proposals that graphic design produced in Uruguay. We seek to discover and understand the behavior of design as a communication channel and its links with the environment. What is the focus with this? that the archive, the intention of the archive is not just for graphic designers. Just to give you an idea, the page that has more visits on La Patria, and I'm talking about the 50%, is an article about the design of the Uruguayan flag that is being used by all the public schools. And for me, that was amazing, because of course I want to educate designers, students, but I also want for let's say all the Uruguayans and everybody to know what the hell a graphic designer does. Because people here in Uruguay, when you say graphic designers, they just think of Photoshop, or, and it happened to me, that's something related to Bitcoin. And it's like, okay, that's not what I do. So the best way to do it is with knowledge, with education. How it started, just like Grendel just spoke, July 2018, I went to the library, I was walking past and I say, you know, I don't know nothing and I want to learn. So let's go to the National Library. And I wanted to go from the beginning. Okay, what was being printed here in Uruguay from the very beginning? And I don't want to start looking at books, because that's graphic design, but it's not as persuasive as flyer, because I was more interested not just in books to study history, I was more interested in the social aspect. When you go to see flyers, what you get to see, you get to learn the social aspect. What was people doing? What was the advertising of that time? So I got the license. I went there, and the librarian looked at me and say, people don't ask that kind of things. People go for a specific topic. Okay, you want to see maps? You are looking for medicine? I don't care about the topic. I just want to see what is being printed here. So that was one day, and they treat me, okay, let's show him something. And they say me, okay, if you want to come and dig, you need a license. Okay, so I pay $1, got my license, get back there, say, okay, show me everything you have. And I didn't know what was there. And what I had to do in that moment is to convince them that there's something there. I didn't know what was there, but it must be something. And this flyer, this lottery flyer, is the flyer that tied the knot, that make them understand, and I understood as well, that there's something to find or to understand about how Uruguayans design. We don't have a school of design, okay? We are not Germany that has 400 years. We are not the States. We are not Japan. We don't have a school. I'm pretty sure about that. But we have a way of designing. And that's something that also happens in all the other aspects of Uruguay. Because what I'm trying to say is that we don't design with an abundance of resources. For example, somebody from the countries that I just mentioned, a designer, when they have to design a cover for a magazine, maybe 8 people work for it. You know, you have an art director, you have a designer, you have a photographer, blah, blah, blah. Here, everything is done by one person. Okay? And I'm not saying that we're poor, eh? We're not poor, but the limitations are noticeable. So, and this creates something that, in my opinion, is even better because we have control of everything. So just look at the headline, 1,000 onzas de oro. That's the price for the lottery ticket. So it's 1 ounce of gold. This headline has 13 letters. So from 13 letters, 3 are lacking. And the most curious case is the last letter from oro, gold, that is a 6. So I just to put myself in the shoes of the printer and say, okay, I don't have the letters to print this flyer. So I'm sorry, boss, the job cannot be done. No, that's not an answer. So what he did, he just figured out how to do it, and he did it. Or something, the same story happened 100 years afterwards. This is from 1975. So if you take a look to quienes, the N of quienes was an M that the printer cut one stem from the M to convert it into an N. Same reason why I don't have this letter, so what I'm gonna do? Just figure out. Nobody's gonna notice. And this poster, we're talking 50 centimeters on 30 centimeters, and for the people in the States, that's like a 1.5 feet over a feet. So this is pretty big, and the text is, I don't understand in which context this fit, but it's an inconsolable widow thanks those who comfort her. I don't know. This text is quite hilarious, and I'd love to have it in at my place, because this is the kind of things that you only see in Uruguay, or at least I like to think this. Then look at this typeface. At the beginning, I thought there was lettering, but if you take a closer look at each letter, you will notice that the letters don't overlap. So it's a clear sign that this is metal type. I tried to figure out in what's the name of this font, but I couldn't figure out. It's a very unique typeface of the style, because it has the style of being metal with very square shapes, but then it has swashes. Just take a look at the capital letters, or take a look at the letter G. Quite unique, and this was an army bulletin from the general of Uruguay. Again, very unique, and I was happy to start finding these kind of things. And of course, I, as a designer, I'm interested in these kind of things. But I was saying before, I want everybody to be interested in graphic design, not just because, like I like to call graphic design, just paper, color paper, okay? So it's more about the social aspect. What I continue to find, and we're gonna see now just a couple, this is a program that is a double-side program for a theater from 1903. And okay, this is a place that offer a couple of shows, like 10 shows, sorry, 16 shows, no, so I'm sorry, 18 shows per night. So that's quite a bit. So you go to a place to dance, to drink, and you have 18 different things going on at one night. So back in the day, how you express that diversity with the diversity of fonts. So this diversity of fonts was the one in charge of expressing what was going on at the casino, how it's called. If you look at the front, it reminds, or at least it reminds me, of the aesthetic of a circus, but it's not. It's a casino. Something also that pops into my mind if you look at the backside, where it says El Ejército del Norte. I think that is a resource that is came into fashion now, is to mix different width of fonts in order to, I don't know what, but this is what was done 100 years before. So the idea that you think that is new, it was already done 100 years ago. Look at this word matinee. Matinee is dance. So this is, in my opinion, is a complete Dadaist approach to a flyer, but this is 10 years before the Dadaist movement. So they express, again, what the event is with the font. Same resource that they use in the 80s, that it was a kermés, and they say what the top word that says diviértase is have fun, and the word is having fun, it has movement. So this is all the flyers that I found in my first approach to the library, okay? And this is a bandana. And I know it looks like a cow, but if you look closer, it's a cow. And for the people that don't speak Spanish and you read se cow bar, doesn't make sense, but it's actually a wordplay. It says se vaca bar. It's going to finish. And this is a bandana that was used here in Uruguay. We suffer a dictatorship. So as you imagine, what could be published or what could be said was limited. So people have to be creative in order to transmit the message, and the military not to figure out what was saying. So this was a bandana used during the last year of the dictatorship, saying it's going to finish. So I went to the library, I looked at a couple of boxes, I selected 89 flyers and created a website that went by the name impresosdeluruguay.com. I added an information, what was the project about. And this is what I'm trying to tell you, is that this personal project didn't start it, okay, I'm going to find an archive. It go step by step into realize that there's something here. And what, as every personal project, emotion is linked to what you do, okay? So I went into national television for 20 minutes speaking about design. I don't know if your country, this is usual. In my country, it's not usual at all. When they call me and they invite me, Leonardo Arbecon invite me, that he is a very good journalist here from Uruguay. And I guess that in every country you have this kind of journalist that he does not represent a political party. He just wants the truth to be known, and he works for that. So he invited me to go to television, and I share what I was doing with everybody. People call me, people call my mom, and this was huge. And what I'm trying to say is this: I know that I was doing is great, I love it, but this connect something that is good with something that is successful. And in design, there are many things that aren't good, that are successful, and there are many things that are that happens vice versa. Okay, so they make me realize, okay, this is the tip of the iceberg. What I did is just the tip. Continue digging, and you find something that you have to make it bleed. You know, continue. That this is the right path. Okay, but Impresos del Uruguay, it sounded like it lacked identity. I needed something that, first of all, has to be female. Why it has to be female? Because from all the works that I found, they're all male. So, and I hate it. Why it has to be? I know back in the day was the man that work and deliver, but it has to change. So I knew that in order to change this, at least they have to put the energy of a woman. And here, what we see in here is El Altar de la Patria, the altar of the homeland. And this is a paint done by Juan Manuel Blanes, a predominant Uruguayan painter. And what he did here, he painted Uruguay he pictured Uruguay with all the national symbols as the motherland, you know? So just to give you an idea, we have the sun, we have a scale in the background, we see the hill of Montevideo, we see a bull and a horse. These are the elements that they made up the Uruguayan flag and the coat of arms. And this is the coat of arms we see now was founded at the very first type specimen printed in Uruguay in 1838. So there's only one symbol that repeats in the coat of arms and in the flag, and that's the sun. So that's a clear message that the logo has to be a sun. It's so good with having a horse as your symbol, or a bull, or a scale, but come on, the sun, in my opinion, is a better symbol. So this is the symbol of the Uruguayan flag, but I needed to transform it into a logo. And this is the logo. Why? What happened? If you take a look at the rays, here are lines. These lines and here are triangles. Okay, the first thing I did is take away the face, because the face, when you put it in a small size, is not gonna work. And the triangles create a difference of white space that the lines, they doesn't. So this is the symbol. Okay, we have a symbol, we have the identity. So continue working with that emotion that going to the TV brought you. And what I did, I have a soft spot for transport bus tickets. And again, I love them, but maybe a doctor don't. Maybe an anthropologist also don't. But what if I make a selection with palindrome bus tickets? That's what I'm trying to say. If you take a look, all these numbers, you can read it from front to the back. And this is a way of making people look. Here in Uruguay, there was now everything changed, everything is electronic. But back in the day, when you get this kind of number, it's a lucky charm. So people are gonna start looking at the design of bus ticket just because the number get the attention. We have a collection of all more than 100 bus tickets that have these characteristics. So people love them just because the number reminds them of when they were going to university or when they're going back to home. It brings memories. And it's very important when you are talking about design, or I guess with everything, that you touch the emotion. Everything is, if everything is rational, you're not gonna get the people to like it. You need a bit of emotion. I have a soft spot for transport tickets, and who don't like logos? I think everybody does. So, and I start to get in contact with all two designers, and I have to thank Maca for sharing the numbers of designers that have 80 years old and something like that. So I went to their house, and if you ask them, okay, can you please share me I tell them the story, what I'm doing, can you please give me a logo? And what they did, they brought an A4 with the logo and say, okay, this is what I have. So everything has to be redrawn. And I say, okay, I know it's not the most enjoyable thing to do, but I just see myself in the end having the biggest logo collection of Uruguay, and that gave me the impulse to do it. And I guess you guys, the logo that you didn't expect to see here is the underground logo. And if you look at the name, Edward Johnston, it have quite a British name, okay? And I agree with you. What happened with Eduardo, how we call it here in Uruguay, the parents thought that they needed a new beginning, and who knows, they came here to Uruguay. So they came here, Edward was born, they stayed 3-4 years, they say, okay, you know something, let's go back to England. And Edward designed the story about the whole transport system font that Johnston did, but he was born in Uruguay. Another logo, and I'm sorry, something that I didn't mention, as the archive focus in typography, the selection of logos that you're gonna see are all typographic logos, okay? Take a look at the first logo. I'm talking about Cervecería Matriz. This is a restaurant. And you see the shop where you drink the beer that has the initials, the C and the M. Outstanding. This is a really good logo. Another favorite is the Sondor, top right corner. So this is a label. So what the designer did, the S, make it turn around just like the record, and you get the logo. The other logo that I want to speak is the COPSA. This transport logo for the people that watch RoboCop it really looks quite the same as the OCP, the police from the movie, but this was done 10 years before. One of my it's hard to say which one is your favorite, but for me is I can say it because he was my teacher. I'm talking about Marcos Larriero. Please take a look at the bottom right. How this is a logo for a music store, and one of the things that Marcos, my university teacher, taught me, you can do, just for example, there are many logos that has a chef with a white hat and dress, but if you are able to make your own chef, that's valuable, and that's what he did. I really appreciate this logo that he made. And again, take a look at the top left, Calnu. This is a cooperative. This is a cooperative that was founded by 4 cooperatives. So what you see in there is 4 C's that join. Quite unique, huh? What happened, I'm going to talk about the logo on the top left that was designed by Horacio Nion. This is the graphic designer, the 80-year-old graphic designer. This is a retirement fund. So in Spanish, retirement fund goes by caja, like a box. So he took the 2 initial letters, the C and the N, and he created a box. I don't know, guys, if you remember the logo designed by Saul Bass for the aluminum company of the States. Take a look at the top, the bottom right, Abasur, the aluminum company that work here in Uruguay. It's like a brother, eh? Okay? It's the same letter, the letter A for aluminum, but done in a different way. And I love to see this going on, and I love that Marcos did a very good job. This is what we're seeing here is detail of a cartel, and this is something similar that happened with Johnston. This is Joe Mora, Joseph Jacinto Mora, and Jacinto is a very Uruguayan name. And he was not a graphic designer; he was an illustrator and a sculptor. And please check it out. His work, he is lovely. And this is from California, and he designed or draw better this kind of maps when the proportion is not what you're looking, it's just having fun with maps. Something similar with what Paula Scher did with her maps. Another one is for the Yosemite. Again, for me, is get your attention. Your eye wants to read and check out what's going on, because there's 1,000 things going on here. Or a cartel again of Los Angeles, and if you look at the left where the 2 ships are there, okay, so California was first conquered by the Spanish, and then by the Mexicans, and then by the states conquered it. Okay, so it says such a different time, such different from our time. No, so it's like, you remember? And the guy answers, yep, sure it was, but what muchachas? Muchachas is what, the ladies. So you know, something it changed, but check out the ladies. That's the what we can do now. The archive, all the pieces that made up the archive are rather people that invite me to the house, and I go there with my camera and take the pictures, or I go to flea markets or buy the different pieces online. You know, so this is a very famous flea market here in Montevideo, and I bumped with this book. So this book, just to give you an idea, has the size of the palm of your hand. So it's quite small. It's a book, an anatomy book of 700 pages. Everything in this book was done by hand. And I mean everything. So we're gonna continue looking. The lettering was done by hand, like I was saying. So you're gonna see that this guy, Manuel Fernandez Mendez, have a specific style for the headlines, and then for the text, and then another one for the footnotes. And it's amazing that everything was done by hand. So if you ask me why this was everything done by hand, because we're talking about an anatomy. So just to give you an idea, how the hell you compose a book of an anatomy with drawings and text? You know something? I just do it myself. It's gonna be much easier to do it if I have control of every part than have to go to the letterpress and then how to put the drawings and the letters together. Too complicated. So if you pay attention on the left, you're gonna see that for some reason he changes some letters. Look at the G. You have the G, the double story G for región, and then when the other word has a single story G. Why? Because he just felt like doing it. And look at this. The number has a specific. The number I'm talking about, the page number, has a specific style. Then a style for the headlines, and then a different style for the text. I don't know nothing about anatomy, but this drawing, and I can understand what is going on, but I know that this drawing is pretty good. Every page is an artwork, and you can notice this because each page has his monogram, and this is a unique piece. I have never seen. I'm not a guy that goes to read and curious about anatomy books, but as a graphic designer that is curious about design, I have never seen a book of almost 700 pages that everything was done by hand. Even this is a table that tells you the vitamins, the level of vitamins that the food has. And this is this infographic is excellent. It's excellent. If you go and read it, you can figure out very quickly how it is. It's a lot of information that has to be put into a small piece of paper, and he did it amazingly. I don't know how many years it took to him to achieve this masterwork, but just to another story about this book. This, as he said, this was done in 1938. In the 50s, 20 years after this book, the children of Manuel Fernandez Mendez decided to make a new edition for people to have it, a cheaper edition, and invited people to color it. Just for this was huge for back in the day. I mean, what I'm saying is huge back in the day, and something that was useful, because this is a pocketbook that has an information that if you I know how many of you are aware of anatomy books. Anatomy books are very expensive, and they usually big size. So this was a breaking point here for Uruguay, for the medicine students. Okay, so since we're talking about handwork, let's go to a different story. As you see, this is everything is done by calligraphy, by the quill. This technique, thank God we don't have to do this today, right? Because it is just detail, just to show you how lovely it looks and the work it needs. You can see all the body of this man, but please take a look at the hand on the bottom right. Look how it was done. Even the nail of the thumb, incredible. And this is This is taken from a piece that we're gonna see right now. And it's what it says in English is with no other instrument than a quill. So this guy, Juan Manuel Besnes e Irigoyen, was very pretty proud from everything he can do just with his quill. This is the box of quills that he liked, the quills he used, and now we're going to see the work that he produced. So just to give you an idea, this has 2 meters long, 4 meters, and if this guy has to work on the 36 days of type, it was easy cheesy for him. This is a piece that's 350 different styles. I'm going to tell you something. I didn't count them, but if he says that it's 350, it must be. So he did this composition, and in every space, every letter that he includes, or every line, has a different style. So let's take a closer look at this. Marvelous. There's no 2 letters that you can see here that has the same style. If you look on the left, you're gonna see that each line has a different style. And now you can see on the middle, on the bottom middle, it says pluma, that's quill. This is where we're talking with look before, that no other instrument than the quill. This is where it was taken. Incredible. This and that's where we can understand how proud he was. He just needed the quills and a piece of paper. I can work. This is really marvelous and a quite unique piece of designs. Of course, because it's a big piece of paper, and how also not because of the craftsmanship that he has, how creative he was, because there's a lot of people that has a very good very good, yes, technique, but this is it's creative, it's incredible. And if you take a closer look, and you're gonna start notice that you're gonna see different letters with different style all over the place. Just take a moment to look at all the letters that you can find. Look at the symmetry between the 2 columns, the A and then the B and the C together, then the big, then the E and the F. So he has he knows how to compose. It's beautiful, really, really beautiful. And this is the kind of things that I was loving to discover, because when okay, it's all good with Bodoni, and I love it, and I see I see his work, but I want something to discover something done by here in Uruguay. Please come on. And when I discovered this kind of guys, okay, I'm proud of my heritage, and people have to know about this. How is it possible that people don't have it? And what I'm trying to say, people don't have it. And this piece belongs to the National Historian Museum here in Uruguay, and for reasons that escapes my mind, I have to ask for this image. They take the pictures and they send them to me, but the archive is not online. So okay, if you go to the museum, you can see it there, but how many people can go and appreciate this? Not many, as if you have it digitalized, especially nowadays of coronavirus. Please make it online, and let make everybody know about this guy. And all these images that I'm showing you, they all belong to the same piece. Incredible. Look at the floor, how he got the checkboard floor just with a quill. Incredible. And he was, as was saying on the left, he was 39 years old when he designed this piece of work. this guy was a very clever guy. In one aspect I'm trying to say, this guy didn't marry a political party. He worked for the Brazilians when they tried to conquer. He worked for like, let's say, for one political party, Uruguayan party, and the other one, he didn't care, man. I would just want to sit down with my quill and draw. And this is what this is a poster done for the foreign minister here in Uruguay. And Grendel, sorry, this is this image. The next image we're gonna see is just for you. I don't know how many calligraphic skulls you see back in your life, but here we have one. Just look at the skull. You ever imagine to see a skull using these curls to create the shapes? Again, it's quite unique. Try to look now. Look at the feet. I don't understand how it's possible for somebody to draw and to compose a body, a skull, or whatever you're doing, just with spirals. Something that I didn't know before, and is to have a map with a drawing. And I'm thinking exactly what you're thinking right now. I don't know why, but the guy at the library that has to put the stamps that these belong to the library always, I don't know why, but always put it on the middle of the piece. Why don't put it on the corner, not to bother anything? Not have to put it right in the middle. But just let's forget about that. How many maps you saw that it also has a face? And this was a cooperative job with Francisco that did the map, and Juan Manuel was the one that did the drawing. This is also a piece that I never had the opportunity to see before. And it's lovely to have a map of your own land and your face there as well. Like it looks like a hat, right? Okay, we're gonna see here, and I think this is something that you guys will be curious to see. When I was preparing my talk, I wanted, because I know that this is international and every country has a different culture, a different approach to graphic design. So what we're gonna see here is a collection that belongs to the National Library, that is from the 80s. And again, they belong to the context is the dictatorship. How we're gonna see that all these flyers have only one ink, they're all black. They were printing using a mimeograph. I don't know if you are aware of what a mimeograph is. A mimeograph is a very cheap way of printing that was used 30 years ago, and from 100 years ago, was just to give you an idea, was invented by Edison, the same guy that invented the light bulb. And this was done by hand, and you make one original piece, you put it on the mimeograph, and what it did, you turn and it creates copies of this same drawing. So it was very good and very cheap and very quick to produce flyers. And again, this is the end of the dictatorship. Everything was done under the table. So you have to be careful how you do it. So how it was done, the night before you go and hang the flyers, you get together in one place, you get all the copies, and the next day, the next morning, you go and spread the news. So everything you're gonna see here is done by people that understood that graphic design with the printer is the only way to deliver the message. There was no font to use. So you have to be creative in order to stand. So this is a flyer for a singer, of a Uruguayan singer that came back to the country. Daniel Biglietti, and that was his name, was left wing and the dictatorship was right wing. So he couldn't stay here in the country because he's gonna get caught and God knows what will happen to him. So he went into exile, and when the dictatorship came back, when the dictatorship finished, he came back, and this was the flyer for his first concert. This image is I have a soft spot for this image, for what you can see here, okay? So what we see here, we see two hands that are into change, and two free hands helps the change to break. That's it, that's the message to transmit. And for me, it's quite obvious that this image was done by a university student, because the university students, that they have the emotion, the enthusiasm to produce this kind of work. This flyer here in Uruguay, we have a big influence from the black culture, and that black culture brought and stayed here here in Uruguay to walk on the streets playing drums, and that's what you see there. And on the background, what you see is the typical image from a march, that everyone carrying a message. So it was, and that's a way of mixing two aspects of the culture into an event in order to ask for freedom. The hands there, that looks like the hands of a rapper, was a symbol used by a politician that goes by the name of Wilson. So that's why you see the W, and he was very famous here in Uruguay because he was one of the politicians that asked for democracy. And this flyer, what I was asking, 24 and 31 of December. So this is the days where all the families are together. And in a way, because people just try to imagine this, people need to express themselves and ask for freedom, but without compromising their own freedom, okay? So what Uruguayans did back in the day, when they wanted to ask for freedom and just kick out the dictator, they got the pots and the pans, go to the window and start making noise, because cops were not able to go to every house and capture everyone. You understand? So this is a pacific way of protesting. Just today, let's use the day where everybody gets together, and that's it, Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve, and go to the window and make noise. And this was huge, because everyone that wanted the dictatorship to finish was like this, and it was also very good to make your neighbors understand that the whole neighborhood is asking for peace. It's not just one crazy guy that wants this. Again, we can see here a way this was composed with a typewriter machine, that in order to produce a headline that is bigger than the usual font that you get on the typewriter machine, that you compose. Okay, this was an act for the 1st of May. 1st of May is the International Workers' Day. So let's get the letter M and compose a headline with this. And again, this was asking for freedom. So you can see on the image that you see there, a hand that looks like a dove that is breaking a bar. When I found this, the whole feminine movement, I don't know why, but I thought it was quite new. And I know that the feminine movement is at least 100 years old, with the whole Chicago scene where the female workers burned themselves working at the fabric. But this was made here in Uruguay during the 80s in order to promote the women's rights. And this is, again, was a march. So people were going to the main avenue of Montevideo and march quiet, in silence. So just trying to imagine 50,000 people walking on the main avenue of your city without saying anything. So it's the opposite than what happened before. Before was with making noise. Now is silence. So it's and that's how it's called, the March of the Silence. It's quite shocking, because when you see people getting together, you expect to have noise. No, this is the opposite, and that's why this is so symbolic, because they just, I'm tired of saying it. So, you know something, I'm gonna shut up my mouth, and you're gonna see me here, and my presence is I'm gonna make you understand that the woman needs different kind of rights. This is hilarious. Okay, this is hilarious. I'm going to translate this for you. This, of course, is joke. The size of this is 2 fingers. Okay, something like this. And this was made by a popular comedy show from national television, where they create their own politician, and everybody has to vote him. Okay, because it was just imagine. The dictatorship finished, so the whole election, to be able to vote again, was the whole thing, the new thing. So here it says, "Long live Pincinati." That's the nickname of this politician. So long live Pincinati, the annulled vote, anarchy, free love, and this was signed by the movement of free masculinity. It doesn't make sense at all, and of course they're trying to joke, because this was like a kettle that was boiling and it popped. So they were very, very sensitive and clever to realize that they have to do the opposite. Okay, we will say the women are fighting for the freedom. Let's fight for masculinity. Everyone to go and vote. You know something, vote anew. So it's always the opposite. Quite clever, right? And this flyer is signed by the Grupo Scorpio, the Scorpion Group. And this was the first association that promote the homosexual rights, because what was going on during the dictatorship, homosexuals were persecuted. And there was a message in order to inform all the gays, you know something, don't let the cops catch you. The homosexuality is not a disease, because that's what back in the day we're telling. I know that you're aware. And if the cops get you, please don't sign any paper. So, and this was going back to what I was mentioned back in the day, in the beginning of the presentation. I want to understand how graphic design worked and works in our society. What's our function? What we do, for what we work? Okay, we're gonna move now into book covers and then into posters. This is the most persuasive design. And the other aspect that I found here in Uruguay, again, is what I was saying, that it's not an abundance of resources. So it happened that designers usually are illustrators that decide to become designers. So the same thing that happens, for example, in Poland, that everything is done by hand, and done by hand using a kind of illustration that is a bit naive, and always with the use of the metaphor in order to transmit a message that wakes up your emotions. So here you see a cover for a book that you have the typewriters, but it also has the quill. It's put two things together. The title of this is what we've seen here is a number of the Uruguayan encyclopedia that what happens here with this was an encyclopedia that was sold by numbers, and each number has a very creative cover magazine, and they all have this use of metaphor, like I was saying before. So the name of the book is the man who ate a bus, and he pictured it quite good, huh? And I know this is something that no one, and only Uruguayans do this. I don't know if you ever saw a book that has this kind of shape. And why you think the book has this shape? I'm going to tell you why. The designer Maca, also a teacher from my university, decided that he wants the book to stand. So if you put this book on your bookcase, what will happen? The book would fall a bit. So you're going to have all the books in line, and this book falls. So he was very aware that people will go and grab this book first just because it's standing out. Incredible. A very good resource to make your design stand. This image from Fernando Álvarez Cosi, one of my favorite Uruguayan design discover, and this is Uruguayans have Uruguay as a high level of book production, poems and also reading books. Okay, and this was a poem book that looks the inside of the books is lovely because graphic design is part of the book. Okay, what I'm trying to say is that the graphic design has a very enormous personality and effect on how the poems are read. For some reason, this image reminds me of the aesthetics of the Beatles. Also something that you can notice in Uruguay design that is an answer to how to use resources is the use of white as a color. So this is a two-color book cover, but the use of white stands always, because let's use not just white as a background, let's use white as a color. Just please remind what I just said, and you're going to notice that this always happens here in Uruguay design. And again, the metaphor, this book goes by the name the Untouched Heart, and the heart is on the mouth. Lovely. Again, this kind of approach to transmit the message of an invaded female body is quite famous, and it was done by a huge amount of designers around the world. And Horacio Ñón has his own version, quite lovely, and of course is very strong. Carlos Paschero, a Uruguayan designer that decided to go to live in Mexico during the dictatorship, is a designer that when he was in Mexico, he developed a style very psycho, okay? What I'm not psycho, I'm sorry, like the LSD aesthetics, where the colors vibrate a lot, and the shapes also help this vibration. Really great cover designed by Carlos. Again, Horacio is a designer that kind of he was not a modernist, but he have a clear understanding that the less is more. So let's transmit the message. Okay, this is a book that is a book that has many authors. So this is a collective of authors, and that's how he. That's why you see this image on as the cover of the book. Incredible, so simple, and of course very effective. Again, the use of a metaphor. Okay, this is the a book that is called El Pozo, the hole. So it's somebody that is in the hole. So this is what I like from this cover is that okay, the face is in a hole, but what you see on the two sides in orange are his arms. Also, he's really on a hole. Is this ambiguity that the cover has is what makes quite unique. And again, a cover magazine for the Uruguayan encyclopedia. And I'm gonna say it again, check out the use of white. This is just a two-color cover, but when you use the white as a color is when everything stands, because white, when you leave all this white space, is what makes this cover persuasive. Completely different style, what very no, it's handmade. This was as a poster for a musician, a Uruguayan musician, and I like this naive style and how everything is quite. It transmits the message that, okay, come here because everything is gonna be small and you're gonna feel like you're in family. Check out the bird that is there. It's lovely, isn't it? Okay, we're gonna move into poster. You're gonna see mainly poster from Imprenta As. Imprenta As was a very well-known design studio that they have their own printing press at their place. So that was a way of making things cheaper. And when people wanted to print something, they're gonna go to the printer. So they offer the solution of having a designer at the printing place. And again, check out how many colors has. This spot has 3, and it looks very lovely. This is an opening there for school. So it's a kid here in Uruguay. The public schools, the uniform, they have a big blue. I don't know how to say it in English. I'm sorry. Like a big blue scarf here on the neck. So that's why these children it has. So, and of course the school is open. The key has a heart. Come here, please. Look how beautiful this poster for a play. 2-color poster with this woman on the back with the name of the play at her hand. It's so solemn, this image, and also transmits what the play is going to be. A circus. So the abundance of resources here in Uruguay, we don't have that. So what happened here, the nose of the clown and also what is his juggling, okay? So he's also juggling with balls, or he's also juggling with his nose. The way these guys work, and you're gonna see that also the type is done by hand. And why the type was done by hand? To make the work cheaper. What I'm trying to say. So if you're working on a poster during the 60s or a piece of design during the 60s, what happened? You have to do the drawing on a side, and then you have to go to a letterpress printer in order to include the letters. So that's a 2 process. So what happened if I do it all by hand? cheaper. I can do it all at my place. And that's why this poster has all the same aesthetics, because they were also trying to make the life easier. They want to have control of everything they were doing just at their desk. They don't have to wait for the letterpress and they come back, and just forget about all of that. So here we have the Uruguayan sun, the same symbol that I chose. So is the sun reading. That's it. That you need nothing else. So you can see that it is a simplicity here. There is not an abundance of elements, of many elements to transmit the message, like it happens, for example, in the Polish school. I mentioned the Polish school because Uruguayans, and I spoke with the elders of design, was a magazine that came here that goes by the name of Poland, that where there was where they learn about design. So there they learn that this is possible to design everything using your own hand, but they don't have the expressionist way of designing like the Poles have. Here is simplicity and a bit of naive. A just play. Look again. I'm sorry, I'm gonna repeat it, but for me, is what makes me love the posters is how they did it just with what they have, and again, how the use of white on the top, on the light bulb, on the piano, and on the shirt of the guy that is playing the piano. Everything has a dialogue. Okay. A poster for an opera, how the elements that made up this poster has a different hierarchy levels. Okay, the woman at the front in yellow, that also the name that the name of the guy that wrote the plate is also in yellow. Then the hand of the man in white, the face and the title. So they knew how to create a layer of different elements in order to make this poster transmit the message. Such a great poster, huh? So this was the welcoming poster for the event of Nat King Cole, and it's just his face. You need nothing else. And look at the letters. The letters looks like a kid draw them. I think it goes so well, and if I imagine this poster done in a different way, where the type was composed with using letter set or something else, it didn't work out. It looks better like this. So same topic. A musician is coming to Uruguay. We're talking about Louis Armstrong, and the bird is enjoying what this guy Louis Armstrong is playing. This was this was a dance that happened at a famous that is still up to date, a famous theater. So a play that we all know is the Shakespeare. Okay, so this guy is saying to himself, to dance or not to dance? That's the question. That's what's going on, and this is again a clear example of how graphic design can be achieved doing with what you have. This is excellent. This is, of course, one of my favorite, because you get touched by it. Okay, it has four colors poster. It was done with cutting colored paper, and you can see this man playing with his hat in order to modify the sound. really lovely piece of design. This poster, it breaks the what we were seeing before, and it also breaks what we've seen before, not just in color, in composition. It reminds me of the posters that were designed during the beginning of the last century in Germany. Everything is thick, solid, strong. The eye of this cock is really catch your eyes. I have never seen an eye that is a triangle and a circle. And this poster is to just please be alert that X-rays can kill you. This, as it says below on the footer, is for the anti-tuberculosis. I don't know how to say that in English. Excuse me. It's for health. Okay, so if we are trying to alert yourself, let's use the sound of this animal that we all are aware that this is something to be alert. So this metaphor between the animal and the alert, it was used as a resource to transmit the message of the poster.
Amchai, we're gonna have to wrap up pretty soon, and we want to leave space for questions.
Okay,
so,
this is the last piece. This is the oldest. Thank you, Grenda, for the notice. We are talking. We are gonna show you something that I was willing to show. This is the oldest piece we have at the archive. This the only bad thing is that we don't know who did it, but my guess is this was a female. So what we're gonna see here is a book that was bought, empty, white pages, and is made up of collage. Okay, so this person cut carefully the different images that used to come at the match boxes. That's back in the day. That's why it says fosforico. That is a word for saying matches. So take a look at this book. It was done in 1875, and the composition that this person achieved is quite unique. It creates different scenes. Each page has a different scene made up with little pieces of colored paper. It creates letters, it creates a composition, and it creates a dialogue between the shape. Please take a look carefully at what we see. We also know that was done here in Montevideo. Take a look at the M, how the diagonals of the M is with just turn around a little guy jumping, and then you got the M. Quite unique. Here is different, a bit different when she used. I want to think there was a woman, because back in the day, a man was in charge of different things, and the female, the woman, was at home and has free time and could be able to do something like this. Okay. Such lovely composition. Every little aspect of these pages have a different way of saying, okay, I'm having fun with what I have. How the shapes of this border, they use the contour shape that creates a line in order to create the square. It's quite unique. I'm gonna go fast into it. I don't want to go over time. This was something that I was really looking forward to share with you. In my opinion, is the most valuable piece we have at La Patria. it reminds me of what Joe Mora did with his cartel, that every spot has a different scene, with something. It's a million things going on here. For example, this, I have never seen calligraphy or lettering, let's say, done with collage. I've never seen it, not today. There's no one doing collage and type together. Well, somebody here in Uruguay 100 years, more than 100 years ago, did it. And at the last page of this book, it has what I like to call this a pizza. So everything that she didn't use, okay, you know something, I'm gonna put it all together into a page. And the last page of this book says fin, this is the end, and I'm using also this page to finish my presentation. I hope I didn't bore you with Uruguayan design, that you share the same enthusiasm for what I show you, and please ask us the questions that you would like to if I can answer, I will answer. So please visit our website and follow us in Instagram. That's at lapatria.uy to continue learning about us. Thank you so much for your interest and for hearing me.
Gracias, Gabriel. Amchai, that was amazing. That was totally amazing. That collage book, we were just like fainting at seeing that book. Thank you so much for bringing a taste of Uruguayan design to our audience. We have some questions. There are 3 questions so far. If anybody else has any, we do have to cut off at 1:30 y punto. So we want to get the questions taken care of, but we might have time for more than 3. So let's see. Monica Jimenez asks, how do you decide what to include and what to leave behind when working on a national graphic design archive? I am thinking about working on a Peruvian design archive for my senior project, but I don't know where or how to start. Do you have advice from Monica?
Yeah, thank you so much for the question. So when I started the archive, the first thing that I realized is, okay, I'm going to be an archivist. I'm not going to be a designer. So the first thing is, my work is not going to be included, okay? Because it's not fair. You have to go on one, choose a side. So when I started this, I say, okay, something that I want to not to be. I don't want to be a judge. I don't want to say, okay, you can go inside, you can go inside. So what I'm trying to say, don't choose the design that you like, because that's your own taste. And okay, we all have our own taste, and that doesn't fit when you have to be as objective as possible. So I want to be, something that I realized is I want to be as tolerant as possible. So for example, just to give you an idea, students work around the archive. Well, I have to wait for that student to get the degree. So after 24 hours, you can be in the archive, just send your stuff. So how you know how to include? Just, you're gonna see a composition and you're gonna say, okay, this is good. Even if you don't like it, who cares? So when you see something and it has a good use of typography, a good use of color, include it.
That's a great answer. Hi. I think that really says it all. Okay, Juana Cruz Diniz asks, by the time these book covers were designed, did the same happen to vinyl records also? And I think that Juana posted that right when you put that Gigi book cover that definitely looked like similar to a record label.
Yeah, as you notice, I didn't have the time to show and to share as much as I wanted of the archive have. So, but if you go to the archive and you see all the record covers, you're gonna notice that the same thing happened. So please go there and check it out.
So you have album cover art on the archive as well.
Yes, of course.
Ooh. Okay, so Juana, to go check out the links that we've been posting in the chat to check out the archive. And then finally, we have a question from, I'm sorry if I say your name wrong, Promfem. Suksumek says, amazing photos and information. I enjoy so much of your talk. I wonder how this project got funded. Is it a self-funding project or were you able to get funding?
No, that's the dream, to get the income to produce more. This is what I do on my free time. Instead of going out or doing whatever, I decided that this is something that it's my personal work. I'm the kind of designer that always needs a personal project. Otherwise, I will drive myself mad. So to get money in order to do more, that's the most difficult part. And Uruguayans, I went and tried to talk with the president. I have a meeting with the in charge of the Ministry of Culture here in Uruguay. And I say, you know something, I don't want your money. Just give me recognition or give me a space in order to go to their archives and make them online. So that's for us, that's the next step, to get the funds to make this not real, because now it's already happening, but in order to go to the next stage and have exhibitions and do more, because the two things that the archive lacks is human resources and money, because people, it's hard to convince volunteers to, and we have a couple that they help us, like Rosanna Malaneski, that she's a writer, that she's the one that helps us a lot with all the writing. We have John Gadd, that he's an English professor, that he helps us with the translation, but the maintenance and everything it falls on my shoulders.
Woo! Yeah, so you need volunteers, you need recognition, you need access, and you need money. Okay.
Yeah. I think that money will solve a bit of our problems, because if we have money to pay people to work, that will be a solution. So if any one of you have an idea of how to find out the archive, please share it with us.
Okay, we have one more question from Maria Ramos, who asks, what about the permission from the library to publish the digitized images? Do you have to pay for taking pictures or scan the material?
No, as this is the public library, so I don't want to sound bad, but it's our material. They have it, but it belongs to all the Uruguayans. It's our heritage. So I just have to go there, put gloves, take pictures, and I'm not making any money. I'm not making, let's say, a book that I'm going to sell it. They're not scared. So they're very welcoming with when we go into a place and we explain what we're doing. They say, okay, this guy is crazy. He's investing his time in doing something like this. But just to give you an idea, when I go to the library and I go to book covers, they just let me go into the shelf and search the books. You know, something, you go it and search it by yourself, because they already trust me and they know what I'm doing. So, and I know that's something that happens here in Uruguay, and for sure will not happen, for example, just in the States. When you go to the shelves and go and find the books you want, there you have a librarian to say, okay, no, you wait me here, you ask me for the book you want. No, here it's not like that, because here everything is informal. So that's a very good aspect that we have, that we have to use it as much as possible.
Okay, looks like we have 1 minute and one more question.
Okay, I will try to do it.
Viegas, who says he cannot, Vasco says, I'm not able to find the collage album on the website. What category is it under?
It's not online.
Oh, you just got it.
So, the thing is that there's a lot of material that the archive. Okay, I'm not a web designer, so I have the website design in Squarespace. So I don't know how to make fit this in a category, because I don't want to show the book cover of this book. You want to see everything from inside. So hopefully what will happen next is to create an article about this book and for people to be able to download this PDF.
Okay, so we have it's 1:30 already, which is cutoff time. Real quick, from Juan de Bogota wants to know how you deal with rights in terms of the material you publish online.
What
rights with the the publishing rights.
No, they're all right. They're all ours because we write everything. We took all the pictures. That's something that we are aware of it. So if you want to avoid any copyright, write your own material. So everything at the website was done by me or by Rosana in terms of the text, and all the pictures were taken by me. So no one's going to complain because the picture belongs to me.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and then finally, Sarah Getz wants to know: is there a mailing list?
No, we don't have that. That's kind of the things that I would love to have a mailing list and continue getting in touch with people, but I don't have. I can't do it. I'm sorry.
Okay, bueno, that's it. We are now done. Se acabó. Thank you so much, Amchai. That was wonderful. And thank you everybody for joining us, and tune in 2022 for our upcoming lecture series then.
Okay, thank you so much for everyone.
Out.